Well, we got the Lotus ready to rock. This is what you're gonna take to the track tomorrow, right?
Talon brought me his girlfriend's helmet so that I can take my Lotus on the track at Drive Fest.
We're heading to Mosport for the Drive Festival. It's something new they're putting on this year.
I'm told that I'm going to Drive Fest, and I looked around at what I could take. I could take a tractor, or I could take the 58 Apache. I can't take the Aston Martin because it's in the shop, because that's where Aston Martins live. So I think I'm stuck with taking the Alfa Romeo 4C. It's a hard life.
I decided to bring my little Datsun 240Z. It's 1972. Never been on a track, so if there's people in the way, they're gonna have to move, because I'm gonna just go.
Hopefully I can get on the track with my car. It's been a couple of years since I've had the Miata on the racetrack.
I had not heard that Ron is intending to drive his Miata on the track.
It's a great little car.
Hey, Ron.
Yes?
How fast is your Miata?
It goes, well, it's a Miata.
Okay. Well, no, you don't need to say anymore.
It's not real.
I say I'm gonna put her to the floor, put the pedal to the metal, and go for it.
Janice and I are spending the day at Drive Fest. Drive Fest is a great event where people get to bring their exotic cars, put them on the track, and give her. I had no particular expectations when I came here. I was just coming out for a nice day.
I can see this hitting you in the head.
Yeah, that's why I'm standing behind you. You know, this is a first-year event, and quite often they struggle a bit, but from what I'm seeing, this event is not struggling. It's pretty incredible. Mosport is in Bowmanville, Ontario, and it's a fairly old track. It used to host Grand Prix and Formula One events. Built in the 1950s, Mosport was one of Canada's first permanent motor racing facilities. It hosted the Canadian Grand Prix races for a number of years before those moved off to Montreal, and it also helped spawn the Can-Am Racing Series. Today, it's hosting Drive Fest.
Some nice cars here, eh?
Yeah. Do you know what? One of my favorite cars is right here. It's Maserati.
Maserati, I was gonna say.
So Janice and I were walking down here, and I looked over, and there's a Maserati MC12. Isn't that something else? Look at the size of it. You see photographs of them, you don't realize how big they are. Look at the sculpturing in this car.
I love
I mean, it's
that.
not just vents. Man, just beautiful car. It was one of my favorite cars in the 2000s, and I just thought it was such a dramatic car. You know, I look at it now, some of its styling has gotten a little dated, and it's really funny, because it's sitting next to an Enzo. This is modern.
This is an Enzo, 2003, and that is built on an Enzo chassis.
And it is actually an Enzo with a Maserati body on it. Well, the Enzo was an attempt to make a road car look like a Formula One car, and I think that the two need to be distinctly different. See, they've got that Ferrari Formula One car nose. I hated the Enzo in that period, and I loved the MC12. And what I'm looking at now, I sort of go, this Enzo's not that bad. You know what, as time has gone on, I started to like it more than I used to.
I like the back end.
And I see some flaws on the MC12 I never saw before because it's a very busy car.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yes, that big, wide back end.
You know, as a design exercise, I think the Enzo, as much as I didn't get used to them to start off with, I look at it now and I can appreciate the entire design. Whereas this, I look at the individual design elements, like the hood, and I go, wow, that's awesome. But when you put it all together, there's just too many ideas on this car. Whereas the Enzo, you can see he's working with the same idea from the front to the back. There's no gimmicks added into the coachwork. So in my mind right now, they're tied.
A few of us are ducking out early today to go to Drive Fest, but first I have to do a quick assessment on this 1969 MG Midget. Won't crank from the inside. Something wrong with the ignition switch, I believe. I jumped the starter and got it started. All right, see if I'll make it in with it.
We don't get very many midgets in. These ones are a super high dollar car, but this one had some sentimental value to the owner and she wanted to bring it in and have it assessed. So this was her father's, and now she wants to restore it and keep it going for herself. So we're gonna go over it, we're gonna assess it, and the big hanger on it is whether the car's gonna be worth that much at the end, or it has that sentimental value that the worth really doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, can't see.
Our assessment process, we go through it and see if it's a viable car to actually restore, so that they have an idea of the dollar value that they're gonna have to put out to get this job done, whether it's mechanical, bodywork, metalwork,
Rusty. At first, I was worried about putting this thing up in the air. It looked so rotten under there. I was afraid the hoist was just gonna cave everything in when I tried to lift the car. Don't wanna take a chance here, wreck something more. But I found a couple of solid spots and was able to get the car in the air. But it doesn't look very good under there. It's just rotted. It's pretty bad.
One of my favorite cars. The design is just completely extravagant. And yet when you look at it, it can't be anything else but a Ford GT. So yours?
It is mine.
It is. I could tell by the foot apparel. I ran into Angelo, and he's got one of the newest generation Ford GTs. It is an absolutely amazing supercar.
So I actually have two of the 2006 Ford GTs. I have a white with blue American Racing colors, and I have a black with silver, which is like car number 2 that came in first in 1966. So I'm a bit of a Ford Shelby guy anyways.
How do you feel about this car on the road? Like a lot of these big exotic cars, they're a little bit of a handful.
It drives well.
Yeah.
It's a little noisy because it basically is a race car for the road.
Yeah.
And being fully carbon fiber, you hear lots of little squeaks that you don't know where they're coming from, but enjoy the ride. That's all part of the character of the car.
So Angelo brought his Ford GT to this event, but he brought something even more special than that. He brought a McLaren Elva. Very, very few of them made.
Now I gotta change hats. Put my McLaren hat on from the Ford, instead of the Ford GT hat.
Spectacular car.
I spent about 3 months with the folks at McLaren MSO. We've done probably 100 different renderings to come up with the paint scheme. I had the basic idea in my mind. I wanted the Golf with the dark blue and orange, and then we just tweaked a bunch of stuff with the silver accents to tie into the mirrors, the exhaust. And came here in July, and I got over 1,400 kilometers on it already. I was out yesterday a few times. It's going out again today.
So it's really a one of one. And he's not afraid to use it. Listen, I know that you're out on the track at noon, and
Yes.
as am I. So enjoy
How
your
much
day.
of a head start do you want?
About maybe, give me about 60 feet.
Oh, I think I
And-
can ask for a couple of days.
Yeah.
It's just rotted right out.
Oh,
Put my hand right up it.
I don't think that's a handhole.
This is a one-owner, all-original, completely unrestored car. 32,000 original miles.
Wow.
I'm at Drive Fest, and I'm watching this absolutely beautiful Ferrari Dino rolling off of its trailer. I mean, from 100 yards away, you can tell this is an exceptional restoration. When I look at something like this, I immediately appreciate the handwork. This car is nothing but curves. And unlike many curved surfaces on cars, you can see the curves at the same time from one side to the other. And when you look at this one, there is no flaws in any of those curves, and it is just absolutely stunning. I know that at this point, this car is evaluated just a little bit under $10 million.
If it's facing this way, you're really gonna see it better.
Turns out, Hassan Magadam owns this car.
I'm an oral maxillofacial surgeon, did a master's in bone engineering, grew the first human jawbone out of stem cells, became, well known in the bone world, because I'm a bonehead, they call me.
He's been collecting for probably 15, 20 years. Started out small, and has certainly worked his way into the big leagues in no time at all.
I came to Canada in 1976 from Iran as an immigrant. My bed was from the guy's garbage next door, because my dad's like, these Canadians, their garbage is better than what we have in our own house. So, very humble beginnings.
He's got some beautiful cars. He's got an F40 Ferrari. That is one of the great Ferraris of all time. And he's got this magnificent Gullwing Mercedes with Rudge wheels, which is in itself a very rare thing. This Gullwing is quite a departure from these red cars.
Yeah, and I'm actually an old car guy.
Considering that Mercedes 300 Gullwings are rare, this particular Gullwing is extraordinarily rare because it's absolutely original. It's never been restored.
This is a one-owner, all-original, completely unrestored car. Guess how many kilometers this car has?
How many?
32,000 original miles.
Wow. It's still got the original spare tire in the trunk.
And it's a Rudge wheel tire, and that's how you know it's original.
So often we see cars that have been restored and then re-restored. It's very refreshing to realize that the last people to actually do any major work on this car was on the assembly line.
One interesting story, I was at Amelia Island with the judge, and I was showing, I said, I think this is the original jack. I've never seen what it was. So I'm pointing at him, and I open it. And it shoots, and it's a fire extinguisher, the original, and it still is compressing. This is a fire extinguisher. And obviously, I didn't win anything that day.
that old MG midget. We got it inside and up on the hoist, but it's not very good when we got it up in the air. The thing is rotted.
Oh,
Well, I can see new metal here. Somebody's done some patchwork in the past and put some floor pans in it.
Like that was glued on at one point.
This car was kept on the road for a while by the owner at the time and just patched.
There, and this is the main cross member for the back of the car, structural.
Yeah, that's all your strength.
You can see the holes all rotted up in here. Put my hand right up in.
I don't think that's a hand hole.
The whole thing's rotted right out.
I'm surprised you got it up in the air.
I was really nervous putting it up in the air. For sure, we could fix it, but is it worth fixing? What are we doing with this thing? They want this thing driving it?
She wanted to see if she could put it back on the road. It's got sentimental value.
Every car can be done, but when the value exceeds what the car is actually worth by 8 or 10 times, it's probably not a good idea to do.
I know the sentimental value usually outweighs it, but this is a lot of sentimental value.
Yeah. It is too far gone, so I got to make a phone call that I don't want to make. When there is sentimental value attached to the car, it's hard to tell somebody that their car isn't suitable for restoration. I would rather them not do it than take the money for it. It's not about that here. It's more about giving them this vehicle to drive around in with the sentimental value, but at what cost? So she was very understanding. It's not what she wanted to hear. She was hoping that, yeah, we can just slap some paint on it and get it on the road. But she understands that we're here to make sure that they're not going to put good money after bad. And it's the cost that is going to kill this one.
So I ran into Zach Banijay, a young chap and a racing driver. And I mean, he's not just kidding around. This guy's got ambition and he's going places.
We're here today to showcase our plaid Porsche 935. The opportunity for me opened up to get behind the wheel of the 935, and I'm super grateful to be here. So this is up and close with our plaid Porsche 935, fully carbon fiber. Obviously, we can't really see that because of our beautiful livery.
And it's a very historically significant car. I think they only made 67 of them. Yeah, don't bend this one.
Yeah, absolutely not. Doing the hill run today, obviously, we're not pushing just because there's so much force that you still really have to keep that respect with the car.
I find myself, when I'm on a track now, I am actually thinking about all the things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And they've always said, the best race car drivers have no imagination.
I think there's no better way to say it. It's one of those sports where if you want to be successful, you kind of have to have the sense of no fear. If you're not pushing the limits and you're not trying to find those limits, are you trying?
Yeah, I mean, you learn to push it just to the moment before it lets go.
For 67, there's not a lot of luxury. We got some AC, AM, FM radio, and not much else, but she's stylish.
You get out in the track with your car, your heart starts pumping, you get into it, and it's awesome.
So 67 Mercedes 250 SE, long time coming, this one. This car's been here for close to 10 years. Originally, they wanted it to be painted, cleaned up, and just a minor restoration, but once it got here, it was in really tough shape. The body was horrific, the motor was no good. It needed a full restoration, which the customer wasn't quite ready for, so it did go into storage for a while. Came back out, had some work done, went back into storage. When you're on and off and on and off, things take twice as long to get through. But now it's being finished. This guy bought it brand new. Oh, he wants to get that feel back to it. So that's what we're doing, get it back as close to possible as it was in 1967. The guy's done a fantastic job. It looks great in here. Pretty interesting little car with the overhead valve 6. This one had a mechanical fuel injection unit. Not crazy power or anything, but it'll get you up to highway speed and roll along. It's going down the road pretty decent. Feels pretty good, and she's stylish. The Mercedes of that era are known for their ride, their comfort level. I mean, these were a luxury, cool car to own. When you were able to buy a Mercedes, you made it. The stretch versions, they were usually used for diplomats and things like that. This body style and shape lasted a long time. I mean, up through the 70s. On the luxury end for 67, there's not a lot of luxury. We got some AC, AM, FM radio, and not much else. This road test has proven to be pretty successful. This thing is purring like a kitten. The transmission seems to be shifting great. I think it's ready to go home. So we'll get the final cleanup and
and get it back to the customer. I think it's gonna be thrilled to have it. Maybe get out for a nice cruise.
One of the great things about Drive Fest is you not only can come and see some really amazing exotic cars, but you can take your own car out on the track.
Dan and I are here at Drive Fest to have a little fun with our cars.
Welcome to the drivers meeting at Drive Festival.
I'm gonna be driving my Datsun 240Z. It's a 1972. My wife bought me that for my birthday. Got a chance to take it out on the tracks.
I've got a 1999 Mazda Miata I'll be driving today. It's got a little bit of work done to it. It's got a fancy exhaust system on it and an air intake. And mostly the suspension is modified to make it handle a little better. It used to be my dad's car, and he passed away a few years ago, so I ended up with the car. I used to do track days with him all the time, so this is bringing back memories.
Pace would you like going back?
Fast as you can go.
Okay, Ronnie, so we're gonna have to lose the pace car, dude.
Already? You get out in the track with your car, your heart starts pumping, and you get into it. It's awesome. This car really handles. It's not the fastest car out there, but it sure sticks to the track like glue.
First time I've been on the track. This is a little different than driving around town looking for a coffee shop. This is looking for the next corner, and now you're gonna make it. The Datsun handled quite well. It's hung into the corners, kept me on the road. Good thing, because I was going a little quick. But I made it, and I didn't scratch the car.
My dad would have had a great time today. He used to love Mosport. That's what he built the car for, to take it to the track. So I think of him the whole time. That was a hoot! If they got much horsepower in a little car, this thing would be a rocket ship.
That sounds like a big block Chevy.
Yeah. Come on.
When I got the car around the corner, there was no track in front of me, so I was perhaps going a little bit too fast.
There's a lot of really cool cars here at Drive Fest. It's way busier than I thought it was going to be. There's all the Miatas. The Miatas have a big following. And there's a real neat one here today with a LS Corvette motor in it. Pretty crazy. I really like that one. You think how much horsepower in a little tiny car, this thing would be a rocket ship, man.
It's a fast car.
Oh, I would believe it.
6.2 liter, 509 horse. Road and track tested it, did 0 to 60 in 3.8 in second gear.
It still handles much, that doesn't really change it much?
The motor's lighter than the first one. It's all aluminum. And it sounds like a big block Chevy.
Yeah. Come on.
Should we go find some Porsches?
Yeah, my dream.
Seeing all the Datsuns, like I haven't seen that many in one place in my life. 79, huh?
Holy, the custom interior.
Oh man, it's got air conditioning and everything. And a radio. I don't have a radio. I got a fuse for a radio. Oh, that's pretty.
I've had some performance upgrades.
Your fuel injection, Dad's got carburetors on it.
Individual throttle bodies.
Oh, it's aftermarket?
Yeah, that's aftermarket. And I got a hold of the turbo block, and from 2.8, it's stroked out to a 3-liter. It has a 240SX 5-speed transmission. I went up to Willwood brakes because you can have all the power in the world, but if you can't stop, it's useless to you.
I opted out for a parachute because brakes are far too expensive.
Yeah. Interior, the instrument cluster is an aftermarket one. As you can notice, it's got the extra numbers on it.
Yeah.
And that is a major collector's item in Japan because they're very scarce to find. So put it in, and been going up in value ever since.
Yeah, so
Overall,
you sell that first before you sell the car, right?
Well, I'm not going to be selling it for quite a while.
Yeah. Beautiful cars. And I thought mine was the only one in Ontario, for goodness sakes.
No.
It's exciting. Today, Janice and I are getting to do some runs on the track.
Are we ready to roll?
Yeah, I guess we're getting in. So Janice is driving her 2006 Lotus Elise.
And I'm very excited.
And I'm driving my 2017 Alfa Romeo 4C. I have a G meter that will tell me when I'm in the middle of tipping over. I drove Mosport a lot of times, but the most challenging aspect of this is we're doing it backwards. And I'm not used to these corners from the direction I'm taking them. Lined up, the guy warned us about corner 3. And I thought to myself, I've done corner 3 a million times. What's the big deal? Well, when I came into corner 3 from the wrong direction, I found out that it was made for coming the other way. When I got the car around the corner, there was no track in front of me. So I was perhaps going a little bit too fast, and I had to make a whole bunch of corrections in a real hurry. Just before I let off, she started to get a mind of her own. So I let her have her head for a second, steered into it, and pulled it off. No traction control. Yay.
My first lap, I didn't push it that hard because I've never done the track before. But the second lap, I pushed it a little harder because I just kind of figured it all out.
Oh, that sucked.
That was fun.
It was a great day today. We had a lot of fun, met a lot of great people, beat our cars up a little.
I had so much fun driving on the track. I decided that I want to take some lessons.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to take race car lessons. It just lit something in me.